Hey everybody, it's Carlos. In this video, we're going to be working on a kid's book and watching this video from Club Shay Shay where he interviews Katt Williams. And if you don't know Katt Williams, he's a hilarious comedian. When I first watched it, January 2024, he basically sets Hollywood on fire. But there are some things that he said that I remember thinking that as a professional artist, there are some lessons in this video. So I wanted to watch this video with you and work on this kid's book. So let's get into it.
One of the greatest comedians, dead or alive. One of America's greatest entertainers, one of the funniest men on the planet, world-renowned, multi-talented, a comedy legend. He's the top touring comedian selling out arenas. He's a hilarious storyteller, Emmy award-winning actor, voice actor, rapper, writer, producer, director, icon, genius, a national treasure, philanthropist, humanitarian, social activist, a father, one of the great funny men of our generation and any generation, Mr. Katt Williams.
Thank you, sir. That was magnificent. You are magnificent at intros, and you did not skimp on mine. I appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Now three quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't eat.
If you haven't watched Friday After Next, it is a Christmas gem. It stars Ice Cube and Mike Epps, and it has Katt Williams in there, and so many funny people. This movie's so good that me and my family watch it together every year.
Why will we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you were a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
Well, I don't disagree. All the Cowboys, Katt, damn, you like this.
No, that's not.
What comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay. He's making a really good point right now. Corporate America, just in general, you'll see where teams form and then one person will leave one company and go to the other and take all their friends. So it kind of feeds into the whole, it's not what you know, it's who you know. He's pointing out that fact that happens in the comedy arena too, where you have your little clique and you go out. They're not necessarily picking the right person for the right job more than they're actually just pulling their friends along. Like literally anywhere where people are making money, be ready for this. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You can come to the table and know literally everything unless you have a connection that'll get you in the room. Social media has helped with the exposure part, but you're still going to see cool kids dragging cool kids with them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they've found the best person for the job. They got lucky enough to know the right person.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude?
If you haven't seen it yet, Pimp Chronicles by Katt Williams is one of the funniest comedy specials you'll probably ever watch. He goes off on all kinds of Hollywood. He goes off on Michael Jackson. But then he also has a lot of very important lessons like black people should have white friends, white people should have black friends, and everyone should have Latino friends. It takes a lot of ingredients to make a really good gumbo. Like my grandmother said, if you have too many of the same colored friends, you're doing it wrong.
It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team.
He is dropping so many gems. Like, you really have to be careful with who you messing with, because when it comes to money and making money, people get goofy.
I've been a golfer for quite some time. My short game is impeccable. I can't get you but 2 and some change off of the off the tee, but I'm still coming in for par guarantee.
Are you playing for the tips?
No. I've found that you don't get anything for that. It seems like It seems very egomaniacal. They go, hey, Katt, for free, you can go further back. Hey, what? Women, does it still count the same? Hey, I'm up at the ladies' tee. Don't tell me my pronouns. On the golf course, I'm she, her, him, them, and they. Whoever.
There's a couple things he said there. Golf, the short game is the most important. Whether it's chipping, pitching, and putting, that's what pays the bills. It's just funny to see how he comes to grips with the fact that golf is tough and making it tougher might not be the smartest thing to do. But golf is wonderful. And there's a guy by the name of Bryson DeChambeau. He says that you want to play from the red tees or the forward tees because you want to get used to scoring. If you go to the forward tees, chances are you're going to get to the green faster. You'll be used to scoring lower scores. That's a pro tip for anything. Right now I'm working on this kids book. I've never made a kids book, so I'm learning a lot. And the first one might be trash. The second one will come out a little better, and then we'll just keep on going from there. But for the most part, that's really smart coaching, or that's a really smart tip, is to whatever it is that you're doing, if you're trying to get good at it, don't overdo it. I have friends that tried to make this big, huge project and it never went anywhere because it was just too big. And instead of just doing smaller projects or even building towards that bigger project, if you do smaller projects, it'll make you more efficient and you work out a lot more bugs, and it's not as dramatic as if you're going and swinging for the fences. Work on smaller things, go from the red tees, do a kid's book. I might not necessarily need to make a full-on animation by myself. I could, but I'd rather start with things like a kid's book and then build up from there. Katt Williams bringing home some really important tips.
If you don't say anything, these dudes will run over you. I don't know if you know how bullies operate. But if you don't stand up for yourself, there really is nothing they won't do.
Right.
If you're working on a creative project with a client, there's a thing called feature creep, and you come to an agreement. This is exactly what I'm going to build for you. This is exactly what I'm going to draw for you. And there are some people that will take advantage of, or try to take advantage of you by saying, oh, it's only going to be a little bit more if you did like this. There's people that are going to try to take advantage of your niceness. I've heard business leaders say, oh, they're creative, they're going to give you a good price. Generally speaking, creative people have this niceness that's built into them, and you have people that are willing to take advantage of that. The only example that pops in my head immediately is basically the studio system. You're seeing how the suits or the executives who don't draw, they don't write, they don't animate, they don't model, they don't color, they don't character design, but they're the ones with all the money, and so they go and they take advantage of a bunch of creative people who think that they're in this team and everything is going to be cool until the executives find a more affordable way of doing things. And we're starting to see more and more of that, especially it's getting super amplified with AI. Not only are we losing jobs to people overseas, but now even they are losing jobs to AI. So all that to say, creative people need to take a look at their talents and what they bring to the table and approach every interaction as a business would. A business is going to do the best thing for that business. If that's cutting you out and finding a computer to draw the drawings, or finding someone overseas that's going to work for a lot cheaper, and those decisions, generally speaking, don't take your welfare into account. Always go into a relationship or an agreement with a company as a company. You have to have things absolutely crystal clear in your contracts, and make sure that if there's something that you don't want to do, you make it clear in that contract. Otherwise, assume that someone is going to try to take advantage and try to get more out of you than was in the original agreement. If you go into agreements with that understanding, things will get a lot clearer and a lot smoother for you. Let's get back into it.
Movie, school dance. I want you to remember, whose goddamn white baby is this? And the only way that I can guarantee that you will remember my scene if you didn't remember a whole movie is if I make sure that my scenes are that good, because that's what I watched. I watched great actors.
What he's talking about here is a really important lesson. When there are so many creative people fighting for the same job, how do you stand out? And my motto is, you have to be so good that they can't ignore you. And that's what he's telling you. You have to be tight. If it's a film that you're shooting, you have to be good with your equipment. If it's an illustration that you're working on, your equipment has to be right. Your skills have to be right. But even more than that, it's the way that you treat your clients. There's going to be people that for some reason, they get tired of people and they catch an attitude and they start fighting and they push back and all this stuff. Whereas if you just approach everything as like a team player, and if you explain to your client, because a lot of times clients pretend like they know and they don't. So you have to walk them through the process of creating whatever it is that you're creating for them. And you also have to take care of yourself and let them know, this is what we agreed on. This is how your decisions have affected the project. You have to put the decision on them. Do you want to continue? It's going to be a little more expensive because it's going to take a little more time for what you're asking me to do. Or we can go with this original idea and we could just keep going and the price doesn't change. If you go in and you approach every project as if you're a part of a team, I think that that's what's going to help you stand out. If you go the extra mile to understand the business that you're working with and what market they're trying to reach and how to do it more efficiently, those are the things that are going to make you stand out, because you're teaching your client a little bit more about how to interact with creative professionals. Let's keep on going. Oh, side note, I want to show you guys. I'm going back and forth because I think I'm going to do away with the ink lines and just color that up like that, add shading and stuff. So I might be doing that.
We're very ingenuous and we say this is not a game and we don't play it and people ain't in positions and people don't have their favorites and they group and they click. And,
Right.
But that happens in all businesses.
Right.
No. Say what side you on. Say why you don't like the other side. And then get to the game.
Katt Williams.
Shannon Sharp.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you.
And there you have it. Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, and that cognac really getting people loosened up. So as a recap, some of the things that we have learned. Be the best you can be at the thing that you are trying to be. Whatever it is that you are out here trying to be so good that you cannot be ignored. You have to be good with the equipment, you have to be good with the people, and you have to be good with your talent. The other thing is, while you're out here on your grind, you really do have to take care of yourself. You're going to be out here with a bunch of people that are also trying to get their money and, they're on their hustle. You have to assume that your well-being is not necessarily their main focus. There's a thing called feature creep you want to stay away from. You want to be clear with everyone's expectations. You are expecting to do a job. Someone is expecting you to do that job. You don't want to lose out on money because they believe in feature creeps. Just take care of yourself while you're out there. And come back to the channel, check in on me so you can see the progress of this book. And if you want to stay informed, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's a little bell right next to it. Hit that so every time I go live or I release anything, you'll be alerted. And with that, I'm out.